What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about Scary Movie 2. So, much like the first Scary Movie, I have seen this before. I've seen it. I haven't seen it as many times as the first Scary Movie. That one I rewatch over and over and over. Like I said, I rewatch it pretty much every couple years. This one, I've probably only seen it a couple times, but it's like, with the first one, I saw it when I was a lot younger, and, I kind of grew up watching these, like, mainly the first three Scary Movies, and the first Scary Movie I always really loved. I would watch that over and over. The third Scary Movie, I was obsessed with that when I was younger. I would watch that countless times. The second one, I wouldn't rewatch a lot. I've seen it a couple times. Like I said, I saw it when I was younger, but the second one, I'm going to be honest, it never really did it for me. And upon rewatch, yeah, that's still true. There's some great comedic gags in this. Like it's not like the movie is terrible by any means. There's some like funny stuff that I really love in the movie, but overall, I just think this one's okay. Like, it's okay at best. It's like it has some stuff going for it. You got, so many returning cast members from the first one. The Wayans brothers are. This is like the last one that they're involved with, like, on screen and behind the scenes. So that's a great. But yeah, overall, this, like, I mainly just mess with the first one and the third one. I don't know, like, when I rewatch the third one, if I'm gonna like that one still. But yeah, after rewatching the second one, I'm still not entirely in love with this. I just think it's okay at best. So there you go. But anyways, jumping into a plot summary, we have Cindy, Ray, Shorty, and Brenda, and they are in college now. And they are, recruited for this study. They think it's a psychological study on sleep paralysis, but it's actually a study on, paranormal activity. So they go to this house. It's a haunted house, and when they're there, all sorts of strange things start occurring, and they're tormented by this ghost. And, throughout the whole movie, they keep getting tormented by the ghost, and eventually they want to, defeat the ghost. So yeah, their whole motivation is that they're trying to, of course, survive and defeat this supernatural entity. So that is the basic plot summary. Okay, so I'm gonna get into some stuff that I like first. So, like I said, this movie is not terrible by any means. There is still quite a bit of stuff that I like in the movie, and a lot of the humor, did work for me. And like so much of the humor in the first one, I absolutely love. This one, it's still funny, but I feel like almost all the jokes in the first one hit, and in this one, maybe half or less of the jokes hit. But like iconic scene that I love, and this is one of my favorite scenes in the franchise, but one scene that I really love from this movie is when Shorty is at the dinner table and he's got this plate of drugs, and he's like drooling, he's all effed up, and the one guy with the small hand, Hanson's like off in the corner, and basically, like, you see, like, Shorty gets like the top of his head ripped off, and you see inside his head, and it's Beetlejuice, like Beetlejuice from the Howard Stern show. That's like Shorty's brain. Beetlejuice from the Howard Stern show is inside Shorty's head, and he's like, "This is your brains on drugs." I'm telling you what, that is one of the most iconic scenes in the entire franchise for me personally, because I'm a huge Beetlejuice fan. So, I didn't follow the Howard Stern show super closely. I would watch clips. Like, I'm like an Artie Lang fan, and I like Beetlejuice, and you know, Howard Stern's funny. I would watch clips of it, but I wouldn't watch that show or listen to it religiously. But I would just like my brother put me on to Beetlejuice when we were like younger. Like I think when I was like middle school age, he would just show me clips of Beetlejuice and a couple clips that are on YouTube that I really like of Beetlejuice. There's this one video. It's called "Does Beetlejuice Smoke?" Like my brother and I to this day we still reference that. Like, do you smoke? No, I don't smoke. Once in a blue moon, I does it. So basically, like someone is videotaping Beetlejuice and they're asking him, "Do you smoke?" And he keeps flip flopping with his answer. He's like, "No, I never smoke. Yeah, I smoke all the time. Oh, yeah. Well, once in a blue moon, I does it." Like, it's the best video. Like, it's so quotable. It's so memorable. And like I said, my brother and I, we always reference it. If we're like smoking a cigar, smoking anything, it's like, "Do you smoke?" "No, I don't smoke." "Yeah, I smoke. I smoke all the time." "You smoke?" "Yeah, once in a blue moon, I does it." Great video. If you have not seen the YouTube video called "Does Beetlejuice Smoke?" please watch it. It'll change your life. It's great. Another Beetlejuice video that I really like. It's called Cribs Beetlejuice, and it's like an MTV Cribs style video, but it's like Howard Stern Cribs or whatever. And it's just Beetlejuice walking around his house. He's wearing tighty whities and a robe that's not, you know, he doesn't have it like tied up. Like he's just got a robe. He's shirtless, wearing tighty whities, rocking the robe, and he just goes through his house. There's like a hard, like he's like, "This is my dog cage," and then it just hard cuts to him inside the dog cage, and then basically he's like, "This is my bed. This is where like I fuck," and then he's just posted up on the bed like dry humping, showing us his moves. He like walks into the kitchen. He's got something in the oven burning. There's smoke everywhere. Yeah, Beetlejuice Cribs, fantastic video. Honestly, I always thought when I watched that video, like he had a pretty good sized house going on. Like he had like a trampoline in the back. Like he had a pretty like fat crib, and he must have, like, I mean, he was probably doing well from the Howard Stern show, and he was in a couple movies. I know he was in this. I think he was in that like Bubble Boy movie with Jake Gyllenhaal. I recall seeing him in that. But yeah, like he was. I mean, Beetlejuice was like doing his thing back in the day. I don't know what he's like up to nowadays. I don't think he's doing any like film or radio or TV or anything. But yeah, he was kind of balling there for a minute. Yeah, basically, I had to mention that scene of, you know, Shorty's brain and it's Beetlejuice, because I'm a huge Beetlejuice fan, and yeah, I would always watch those clips, and I'll still reference those with my brother. So yeah, that's one of my favorite scenes in the franchise. Something else that I liked in this movie was the whole recurring joke of Hanson having the small little deformed, disgusting hand. So, you know, I just thought that was like hilarious. Like that whole dinner scene early on where he's got to touch like every piece of food, and he's like, you know, "I made this," and everyone's like grossed out, and then he's like sticking his hand in the potatoes, blah blah blah. He's got to like he's like groping the turkey, licking the turkey, sticking his gross, disgusting hand all over the turkey. I love all that. Like I love the whole recurring joke of like people just being disgusted by his little tiny hand. And then later on, David Cross's character is like hanging on to this ledge, and then Hanson's like trying to lend him a hand, and it's with like the gross hand. He's like, "No, lend me your other hand," and he's just like, he doesn't even want to touch the hand. He just falls. He's like, "Whatever, I'll just fall to my death," you know. So yeah, all this stuff with Hanson and his little hand, I really like that. That was I don't know. It worked. It was super funny. I love it. And then another sequence that I really like is early on. There's a parody of the "Dude, Where's My Car" scene where, you know, they get the tattoos and they're like, "What does yours say? Dude, sweet, what does yours say?" dude, it says sweet. I'm a fan of that movie. I've seen that movie quite a few times. I really like, I mean, Ashton Kutcher is cool. I like him. I like Sean William Scott. I really like. I'm a huge fan. Like, like Road Trip, all the American Pies. I love Sean William Scott. And then stuff like Goon. That's a fantastic movie. But yeah, I really like Dude, Where's My Car? So I've seen it countless times. So yeah, basically, I really like how they parodied that scene in this movie, and then it's James DeBello from Cabin Fever and Detroit Rock City, and then Ray, and he's like, oh, you got a tattoo last night. What does yours say? Ray, what does yours say? Fucked me. What does yours say? Ray, what does yours say? Fuck me. Ray, fucked me. And he's like, what? Like, so yeah, that's like a super iconic scene. Like I said, I love Dude, Where's My Car? I like James DeBello. He's in some cool stuff, and I don't know. That was like a fun little parody, a fun little non-horror parody, and it really it fit with Ray's character, because he's he's like a closeted gay man, like that's part of like his character. So yeah, it was like a funny little sequence. So I really like that, and yeah, basically that like those were the three main things that I wanted to go over for stuff that I really liked. There was other stuff that I liked here and there, but those were like the three standout things that I wanted to go over. So now I'm gonna get into why this movie isn't up there with part 1 and part 3 for me. Like I said, I haven't, like, when I review part 3, I might not like it anymore, but I always liked it when I was growing up. This one I never liked as much, and yeah, like upon rewatch, like I said, I still am not a huge fan of it. But one of the main reasons I feel like I've never liked this movie as much is because of the stuff that it's parodying. So the first one is parodying Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer. Well, yeah, and like Scream 2 and stuff. So but yeah, like basically the Scream movies. The Scream movies I know about. I Know What You Did Last Summer. I've never even seen any of those, but the Scream movies, I know those. I love those. So, I always got all the jokes and the references in the first movie. So it was like I could follow along. Like I understood all the in-jokes. This one, a lot of the movies that are being parodied in this, I have never seen. So I don't get a lot of the in-jokes. So I feel like that is a big reason why I've never liked this movie as much. And I'm not as big of a paranormal supernatural fan. I'm more of a slasher fan anyway. So the fact that the first one is, parodying a slasher movie, it's more in my wheelhouse. This is like, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a huge supernatural fan, so I wouldn't. I don't know. I just don't like this genre as much. So it's like I'm not as geeked to watch a parody of a supernatural movie as I am as like a slasher parody, And basically, in addition to the subject matter of like the supernatural stuff and the movies that they're parodying, I also thought that this one, like the first one did have quite a bit of gross out humor, but I feel like this one had like a considerably more gross out humor, and I like some gross out humor, but like for me personally, it was too much in this. I liked all the gross out stuff with Hanson and his little hand. That stuff was good, but like a lot of the stuff early on where you had like the whole Exorcist parody, and then you had James Woods like sitting on the toilet, and like later on you have the parrot is like like shitting on the wall, like stuff like that. Like it was just so much, like I felt like there was so much more gross out humor, and yeah, like too much gross out humor I'm never into. Like I said, a little bit here and there I'm cool with, but if it felt like they did kind of overdo the gross out humor in this. So yeah, that was another reason why I've never liked this one as much. But yeah, those are my main dislikes. But yeah, in terms of a recommendation, even though I've never been the biggest fan of this, I think if you're a fan of the first one, I think it's still worth checking out. Some people might like this one a lot because, like I said, the Wayans brothers are still involved. You have so many returning characters from the first one. It does, feel very much in line with the first movie. A lot of the later sequels, like they don't feel connected to the first one. There's like barely any characters from the original movie. Like this one, at least you have a lot of returning characters. The style, the theme is similar. Like the tone. Yeah, I guess the theme is different, but yeah, the tone is similar. It's like it came out like a year later, so it definitely feels in line with the first one. And if you are a fan of more supernatural paranormal films, you'll probably like this. But yeah, like even though I don't really like this one as much, yeah, I would still recommend it if you're a fan of the first one. It's definitely worth watching at least once. You gotta watch it just for the the Beetlejuice scene and some of those other scenes. So yeah, I would recommend it. And yeah, that's been my recommendation, and that has been my review of Scary Movie 2. Thank you all very much for watching, and peace out.